thing. I had one of my daughters, the other daughter didn't have it because her mother kidnapped her, and I didn't see her for 3 years. And they were using it against me. That was a Vietnam veteran, PTSD. The schools were holding it against me even in the 90s.
Wow.
They said, we have a problem, Mr. Lewis, and you know, so you got PTSD, you're a Vietnam veteran. And that's our problem, and you don't think you should be raising kids. So I had to fight them. I had to fight the system all over again. It seems like every time I turn around, I'm fighting who I am. You don't see anything on me that says Vietnam veteran. I have a plate that has a Vietnam sticker on it. That's it. Because I feel like I'm a freaking tiger.
Yeah.
And I have a disabled American veterans plate, and I won't put it on my car because I got harassed. People out there think that it's not doing that. Yes, they are. They're still doing it. This happened about 10 years ago. I had the disabled veterans plate on, and I took them off because the guy harassed me so bad.
Really? Wow.
And I got tired of that. So we do still get harassed. Not as many, but we still do. And I'm very sensitive to people rejecting me. I don't like it because I put up and said, what the hell is the matter with you? Well, I've been rejected since I was a kid.
Yeah.
I got tired of being thrown in the snowbanks. You know, but I ended up helping a lot of kids because I've been there.
Yeah.
I can actually look at kids and say, look, I've been there, I've been on the streets. I've been hooked on prescription drugs, I've been hooked on booze. And you know, and I've had a whole history of helping kids. My daughter was here. I tell you that I brought kids in my home sometimes 12 at a time.
Wow.
To help kids. And
that's awesome.
some of those kids, they have PTSD. You know, because their lives they suck. So I got a big heart for kids because I wasn't treated very good. So I figured, well, at least maybe I can make a difference. And I wrote this book to make a difference. I don't know what's going to happen. I've had people ask me if it was going to be a movie. I don't know. As long as it helps people, I don't care what they do with it. As long as it helps people. The main reason for the book is to help people with PTSD, whether it's soldiers or people out there who've been rape victims, they've been beat on by the husband, whatever it is, accidents like you said. It's learning to deal with post-traumatic stress disorder, that there is still a life. You can still live your life, but you have to find your passion.
Yeah.
And that's a big thing. I know you have a lot of them.
You
You have a lot of passion.
Too busy. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I think one of the biggest things to do with PTSD is, for one thing, you gotta love yourself. It wasn't my fault what happened to me.
Right.
And I still get that sometimes. People say mean things to me. They did the other day. My daughter, called me a savage.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah.
Called me a freaking savage. You know, that wasn't very nice.
That's ridiculous.
You know, I've known her since I was a teenage kid. And, you know, but you gotta love yourself, and you gotta find a passion.
Right.
You gotta have meaningful something to
Right.
take the place of that. And, because if you don't, you're gonna do what I did. You're gonna try to find yourself all over in different states and everywhere, and it doesn't happen because you can't get rid of yourself.
Yeah.
No matter where you go 1,000 miles away, you still got yourself.
And
I hope it helps a lot of people.
it's gonna.
And
It's
I've got
definitely
letters from all over the United States. People I don't even know. Hey, you made me think, you know, that's why I did it for. I'm in a messed up marriage. What are you doing?
Yeah.
You know, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
Why are you staying in a friggin' marriage that sucks and people want to beat on you and neglect you? Get the hell out of it.
Right.
You know, and I got people that have come forth to tell me what happened to them, and I didn't even know, and I've known them for years.
Wow.
I was sexually abused for many, many years.
Wow.
And I've got a lot of people telling me that they were abused sexually and stuff, which I was molested for 7 years. That's not in the book.
Yeah.
But my uncle physically abused me real bad, and sexually abused me for 7 years.
It's horrible.
In more ways than I care to remember. One of them that molested me, we put him away for 9 years. He had a knife. He put me up against, my mother still talks about it today, but I wasn't very old. He put me up against a pole, telephone pole, with a knife in my neck and fondled me and stuff. But he went away for a while. But that was hard because family members always go, the blindfold was on.
Right.
You know, even today when I tell them, like I told them 10 years later, 10 years ago, what happened to me. It was your friggin' brother, okay? And come to find out he's hurt a lot of people. It was just me. But they got blindfolds on. Oh, we can't do that. You know, it's part of the family. And, but that's just the way it is. But there's a lot of people out there that are hurting. I'm finding out, even Reggie Cochran, you know Reggie is.
Yeah.
Yeah, Reggie is really nice. I met Reggie finally. I call him Superman, because if you look at the old, everybody you have called him Superman, but if you look at the old Superman, I used to love Superman. I used to have a little t-shirt, you know, and my underwear, and had a towel wrapped on my, and so I got a hole right here, well, it's, you know, I got stitches, because I had a little, jumping off the couch, and I had a little horn with no rubber tip on it, and I stuck in my head, it looked like a unicorn. I took like 36 stitches in my head. But he looked like the old Superman. You know, I looked at him and said, damn, he looks like the 50s Superman. You know, Clark Kent and everything, just like him. So I started calling him Superman. And I ended up meeting Reggie, and Reggie and I are really close friends today. And Reggie works for Chuck Norris. I'm supposed to say Mr., but he works on for he works for Chuck Norris full-time. He's a business partner, and he does a lot for the Norrises on everything that they do. From equipment to, you name it, he's project manager. He does all kinds of stuff, and him and I hit it off really well. He's just a really nice man. And he's gone through some similar stuff, not as far as the military, but, you know, his father was in the military, and his father ended up killing himself.
Oh, wow.
You know, and, yeah, it was hard for many. He grew up what we call trailer trash. You know, he got picked on, he was a fat kid. And so we went through a lot of similar stuff, and we hit it off really well. And he's been a real blessing, like Ed Sign, he's been a real blessing for me. And part of this book, I can remember, he wrote a lot of books. Some are New York bestsellers.
Wow.
And he told me one day, you know, because I went through a few writers for this book. There wasn't just one. You know, my cousin did the first part of it, but there was a bunch of them, like I said, fired. But finally, the book, I hadn't met David Grant yet. I've never met him, but I mean as far as on phone call. And he does Chicken Soup for the Soul. Okay. He has PTSD. He got a terrible accident. Wow. You know, somebody ran over him, I guess. And so anyway, Reggie told me, he said, look, I want you to take this book. When he read it, it wasn't the way it should have been. It read like a, I don't know what you call it, but it didn't read right to me. A journal. He said, I want you to take this book, and he said, I want you to set it aside for 6 months. I said, okay, you know, at this point, I just want the damn thing out there, you know.
Right.
It's been 4 years of sitting on it, trying to get it right. And he said, I want you to just put it aside, concentrate on your school, and because he's a coach. He's a coach, and, you know, coaches a lot of people. He's a very positive person. I said, okay, I'll do that, and I did that. And then David Grant came along, and he's the one who wrote it and made it the way it is. And if it wasn't for Reggie, that wouldn't have happened. It wouldn't have happened. There's a lot of people that would benefit from Reggie if they just listened to him. Yeah. Because he came from pretty much the same place I did in a way, you know, his childhood. And look where he is today. Yeah. You know, but, you know, David Grant did wonders in his book, and I'm glad that I held off like he asked me to. You know, but he's, I think Reggie and I are looking into writing a book together on PTSD, ongoing thing with PTSD. We're looking into, we're talking about writing another book together. He's wrote a little book. That's what I tell you. He actually, I got a big kick out of it, but he actually co-wrote a book with Donald Trump. Oh, did he? Yes, he did. There's a book out there with Donald Trump, and now he co-wrote a book with the president. That's pretty cool. That is pretty cool. But Reggie has been a real blessing for me, and him, I just do stupid things. You know, we text each other doing stupid stuff. Yeah. You know. It's just stupid things that we do at night. You know, he calls me Batman because I dress up like Batman sometimes. I see that on Facebook. Yeah, I dress up like Batman sometimes for the kids, and I do all kinds of things. It started when I actually ended up went down, I grabbed my sister who has PTSD, and I won't get into that, but she was a mess. And I grabbed her, we went to the mountain, we went as Batman and Catwoman. My daughter made a Batmobile, it looked just like the new Batmobile, not the old one, the new one. And yeah, so everybody started calling me Batman. He's Superman, I'm Batman. And one thing led to another with this, and I ended up, you know, like I said, pulling security for the ITC International Training Conference, and also the Norrises, bringing them through, you know, the motel and stuff, because people really like to get in his face. Howard Monday is head of security for the ITC, and he's a very good friend of mine. He's been another blessing, too. It's Howard Monday, and we're very good friends. I'm meeting him. At the end of the month, we're going to go to active shooting counter-terrorist stuff. And he's a really nice guy, too. I have met, I mean, Ed Sign has opened up a whole world for me. And, you know, if I hadn't gotten sober and I hadn't been able to deal with this stuff, the PTSD stuff, I would not be where I am today.
Yeah.
No, if anybody told me years ago when I come out of a coma, and the VA officer told me, hey, you know something, you're gonna be blowing security with the Norris, you're full of shit. You know, and a lot of it, you know, Ed Steins had introduced me to Norris's, and a lot of it was, you know, because I got better.
Right.
I got better because none of these people, and they're all down-to-earth people, by the way. I don't care if they're movie stars. I love the Norrises because of the kind of people they are. Not because, I don't care about this movie stuff we did, you know, I care about the movies in a way that, you know, he did a lot for Vietnam veterans doing what he did. Even though it was a movie, the MIA bringing these guys home and stuff, at least it happened in the movies, they have done a lot for people. There's more to Norrises than people realize. They have a big heart, all of them. The whole family, even, you know, his brother. And they just, I couldn't begin to tell you how many things, I don't know if I should, but they do a lot of stuff for a lot of people and kids. The Kickstart program, you know, everything, they got new water out, as you can see, C4s. They're actually taking it, Gina pretty much runs that. And they're taking the money from that and they're putting it into the Kickstart Kids program.
Oh, wow.
He's done wonders. President Bush, they got together and said, hey, I want to have a Kickstart program. You know, so they started it and they're doing a lot of great stuff for
I
kids.
read his book, Chuck Norris's book, Black Belt Patriotism.
Black Belt Patriotism is a great book.
Yeah.
I've read that thing 3 times, and you got to go backwards before you can go forward.
Uh-huh.
There's a lot of truth to that, and I was hoping people would read it. And I said I read it 3 or 4 times because there's a lot of truth in it. And
Yeah.
Of course, you know, Mr. Norris is involved in politics and stuff like that. And he has an article he writes, and they're very patriotic. And what he wrote in that book is the truth. You've got to go. Our forefathers didn't want us to be like this and taking away our rights.
Right.
You know, which I don't think Trump will do that.
No.
Not at all. But the Norrises, we know when you meet the Norrises, they're really, he is the way, if you've seen Walker, Texas Ranger, that's how he is. He's like that in real life. He's not pretending.
Yeah.
They're really nice people. And I can't begin to tell you all the stuff they've done for people. Lots.
That's awesome.
I really probably should.
It sounds like a rare quality too for people that make it to the top and success that, you know, you don't hear about, you know, hey, this guy's so big, but he's doing stuff for people like.
Don't realize, and I'm not going to get into it, about what this family does, and Gina too. You know, they work as a team. Gina's a very nice woman, and it's all about the kids. It's all about whoever they're helping, and they do a lot of stuff.
That's awesome.
And they've been a blessing for me, and I ended up being friends with them. And, I don't flatter stuff. A lot of people want me to, hey, get his autograph, and I won't do that stuff. They like their privacy, you know?
Yeah.
And you know, there's stuff that we do when we get down here to, you know, the ITC, but I don't put it on Facebook. I respect their private, they're friends of mine. I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
You know, their private time is their private time. That's the way it should be.
Yeah.
You know, you don't go in there and take pictures of them and explode them like that. You know, I don't think you should be doing that. But you know, it wasn't just starting honest. I ended up being friends with Jimmy Buffett's band members.
Okay.
Jim Barron, because he does a lot of stuff for kids. I had him, brought him down here 4 years ago. I brought him, you know, Jim Mayer is a bass player for Jimmy Buffett.
Okay.
He has been for many, many years. We became very good friends because he does a lot for kids. I brought him down here about 4 years ago. He sang for 1,000 kids for him.
Wow.
1,000 kids.
That's awesome.
Yeah, they bust him in. They had a blast, an anti-bullying program.
That's great.
For our kids, and this man would actually go around. It reminds me, they finally met each other. You know, he had supper with the Norrises. And he went and actually took his own money and flew to North Carolina. These 2 kids killed themselves. And suicide. And so he actually went there and met the families and everything about why this was happening, bullying. The schools didn't want to admit it because they went, we have a problem.
Right.
You know, so he's been still doing this all over the country. I mean, when he's not touring for 8 months, he's out there trying to help kids with anti-bullying. I don't know how he got involved with that.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't have any kids of his own that I know of. But we ended up being very good friends.
That's great. Well, thank you so much for taking time with us to
Yep.
do this video.
Yeah, no problem.
And if you haven't read his book, it has just come out. We'll be there in Atlantic City this weekend with a few copies to sell. But you can get it on Amazon.
It's on Amazon, Kindle, and it's on some other, all American speakers. It's on there, I found out.
And you can get on digital. I actually bought the digital download version first,
Yeah, I didn't
And
know
then,
that.
and I was reading it, but the only thing is, for me, I like to highlight stuff and underline stuff, so then I got a couple copies, and me and Jonathan didn't even make it through Vegas. Without giving away my 2 copies, so I'm glad I got some more here, so we're good. I'm definitely not giving away my personal copy again. Well, thank you so much, and we're gonna tour around your school.
Yeah,
next.
yeah, and take a look around and hear the dungeon, some kids call it.
Okay.
That down there is, I don't know if you wanna get down there too, because we use that room, but we can walk down. Where do you wanna go
Take
first?
me wherever, I'll follow you guys.
Okay, well, let's start down here. This school we have here. I do a lot of active shooter counter-terrorism with Major Guam, and out of Boston, and it's mostly first response teams that come in. But it's also good for civilian stuff, because you never know if somebody's gonna rob you, or somebody come in your house and kidnap one of your kids and have a gun, a pistol. And so, but anyway, we use this down here to take a walk down. It's like, this is pretty long in here. But I don't know if you can see with your camera or not. But
Yep. Okay.
But eventually, this whole, gonna have small rooms in here. And,
like a house room,
yeah, and it was, I got a feeling that probably the military will probably come in here and train, because I do train some military guys. And so we actually use these rooms for room cleaning. We're doing 1, 2, 3 people, 4 people, and learning how to get in, go in and clear a room, and cutting the pie, and stuff like that. So we actually use these rooms for this purpose. It's down the other end of the school, but eventually we're gonna have these rooms all over down in here. And actually, teenage kids can come in and they can do, like, outside of the training, they can come in here and do little SWAT teams and stuff, but it's a professional school. And, but they learn a lot out of here. We actually took some people in here and learned how to cut the pie, and they said, wow, this is pretty cool stuff.
You got a little hostage rescue right up in here. Looks
Yeah,
like
we do.
somewhere
We have
came
hostage situation. We use airsofts in here. I actually go in there, and I'm actually the bad guy. Got a couple of bad guys, and they come in here and clear the room after we teach them how to do that.
Right.
I always had people ask me, like, well, I'm not military, I'm not a police officer, so I don't need to learn stuff. I was like, well, somebody breaks into your house.
Somebody breaks in your house.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's what you need. If all of a sudden you're in a mall and somebody starts shooting, you need to know how to get out of the hallway and you know what I mean, get cover and all that stuff. All those good tactics.
Yeah, because stuff happens, and like that.
Yeah, real quick.
It's peaceful, and all of a sudden when it hits the fan, it hits it like real fast. So this is what we use. We got a guy from Desert Storm. He said, "Wow, this is really cool." He said, "I don't know what to do now. If somebody comes and breaks into my house, I'll get myself shot or somebody else."
Yeah.
Because we use hostage situations in here, and we use actually airsofts. We have face shields and stuff, and I don't know, we have our AR-15s and M4s that we use, but we also load them up, and so they get a little bit of an idea of being shot at, because those things stink.
They do stink a little
They
bit. We used to
stink.
play with those in the barracks.
But anyway, this is what we do, and we said, a lot of this is gonna be rooms in here, and kids can come in here, teenagers, and they can, have fun in here. But what I try to get people to understand, this is a professional school. What I mean by that is that, I don't teach junk here. As you know, holding camera, I went to Mark School to train with Dan McMahon.
Absolutely.
And who, was with the Individual Forces. And I try to go to good people because I came from good places. I was trained in the military, and when I finally heard about Mark, I don't know how that happened. I don't remember how it happened, but I knew that he trained under Dan McMahon, and I also knew that he was in security. He was in the Air Force. So that's when I decided to go. I won't teach anything unless I'm certified.
Right.
I don't like bullshit schools.
Right.
I don't teach BS here, because I don't think it's a good idea.
Do you teach a style? Is it Krav Maga mostly you teach as far as
That's all I teach.
Krav Maga?
Krav Maga and tactical stuff's all I teach you.
Nice. So you do the Israeli method when you do coming through the door hole? behind-
Israel method, I got an 18 over here, he's really sharp. He does a lot of tactical stuff, and he's really good. Israel and also the Western too, because Major Guan teaches a lot of SWAT teams and police officers out of Boston. So I go up there and train. We're going there at the end of the month. And
Nice.
I'm bringing this school in here. We can walk down here.
Yeah.
What happens in school, I have civilian Krav Maga in here, for civilians to learn how to protect themselves and be a little bit more aware. And then I have military. I'm actually going to be teaching the military on the base. I can't get the name of the unit, I'd be in all that trouble. But the military stuff that we're doing here is mandatory. They have to go to active shooter in Boston.
Okay,
They have,
that's
it's
good.
mandatory, make it mandatory. And most of the guys that come in here are mostly ex-military.
Nice.
And some of them are dealing with PTSD and they like it in here
Yeah.
because it helps them deal with post-traumatic
Yeah.
stress disorder for their adrenaline rush. But it's mandatory, they have to go there. I've got a couple going there at the end of the month. And I brought 2 more with me. 2 months ago, I brought a couple of guys. One was 25 years in the Army, he was a chief warrant officer. One was a civilian, and I brought them up there. But if they're in the military part of the school, military group, they have to go to Boston, go through active shooter.
Nice.
Also in the springtime, we use rafts. We go across the pond, I got a pond.
Yeah,
And
nice.
they'll actually learn how to be in rafts, because when I was in the 82nd Airborne Division, I was in Panama, jungle training, and we did all that stuff, rappelling. And so I put it in my school.
Yeah.
So this spring, they'll be going across the pond, and they're
Nice.
actually going, and I try to make it as real as possible, you know, in here. And so, but this is an excellent building to do what we're doing. I can bring it down here to show you what we do, but it's all rubber. The knives we use, we've got some that are rubber, but we've got some that's not rubber. These, you probably got them in your school, right? These things hurt.
You get poked with those.
They hurt, them things hurt. That's for sure.
I
But
like
this,
the hand grenade painted.
my
too.
daughter made those because it's very military oriented. We actually wear these BTUs,
Yeah.
and we actually, I'll show you the top we use, your BTU tops and stuff, and it's about as military as you can get. The Army is not using these anymore, but I like these because you can put parachute cord in and stuff, because we use the pockets during the springtime.
How was this you to pair like that?
Yeah, you was, I
Yeah.
know, I saw your pictures. And we got some boots coming, and we haven't got any patches, but we're gonna have some patches. Also, they're gonna be doing, this is what's cool about it, is that I've got about 40 and 50-foot ledges at my home. And
Nice.
I run these ledges all the time.
Oh,
I'm
you do
actually
the repelling from
gonna
there?
repel it,
Yeah.
and actually can go to, jump out of a plane. Because there's people, I found out when I went through jump school, we lost a lot of guys because of the heat. It was in July, but a lot of them, they didn't realize what they were getting into. But so it can actually take them to Pittston, Maine, in 6 hours go through a ground school and jump that day
Oh, that's cool.
alone to
I
a
like
static
that.
line
I
out of
like
a
that.
wide-body Cessna at 3,500 feet.
I wanna do that. right
So
there.
some will go, some probably won't go. But we have military as you can get.
Make sure to post that up on the thing, man. Maybe we can get a whole crew of good guys there.
Well, you know, it's a good way to find out, because I have a lot of I have military guys that are coming in here. And of course, it's geared for civilians too, but a lot of them say, hey, you know, we're gonna go in the military, they wanna jump out of a plane. Do you know what it's like jump out of a plane? Do you know what it's like going through jump school?
I never went through jump school.
They don't have a clue, but you go there and they find, oh, screw this shit.
I watched them pull up,
Gonna
they
jump
pull
down
down.
the plane.
They pull them up by the parachute and then they,
Yeah, that's a
That's the
250-foot tower in Fort Benning, Georgia. The guy that was before me was a lieutenant, he actually had a malfunction on that.
really?
I was the next guy in line, yeah, he came
Oh,
down,
no.
and he had a May
You're
West.
next.
Well, the springs went over, it popped, it had May West, and he came down, he broke his leg, and I'm going, man, I'm next. And we had people just, I'm all done. They just go. So this way, at least if they can jump out of a plane at 3,500 feet, then they can go and be a paratrooper, because there's nothing worse than having to go through, halfway through jump school, and realize that, man, I made a friggin' mistake, and they're putting a black mark in their military
Yeah.
personnel file that, hey, they flunked out of jump school.
Sure.
So if you bring them in civilian life, then they're gonna go into jump school and say, well, if you can do this here, you can do it in the military.
Right, right.
If you can't do it here, don't go in jump
Don't
school.
even do it. Yeah,
Don't do it.
Don't even do it. I would have loved to. I was a lag though, like you were saying earlier. I was 11 Bravo lag unit, you
Yeah,
know.
it was 11-1 Papa. But yeah, we had this egos back then. We were real young kids, and we used to run by calling people names.
War fighters, man. You know?
Yeah, we were fighters too. But back then it was like, if you weren't airborne, you ain't shit.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we had, if shit hit the fan.
That's
because we
right.
all gathered
You
together.
we were brothers. Infantry is infantry.
It's infantry, you're a grunt, you're a grunt.
You're good.
But, they always said the AA was airborne assholes, and the only thing fall from the sky is bird shit and acorn. unconscious.
Nice.
Yeah, I got a weapons rack. We used AR-15s in here, and we use them for training because when I was in the Army, you know, I was in a tank unit. Our training stopped. When we did a lot of jungle training, and what ended up happening is, that after Vietnam, we ended up going to Israel. It's a 7-day war.
7 days.
It was a 7-day war. So we went on alert, and because, you know, being on a tow system, you know, they had a tank war over there. So our training started changing to the more tactical stuff from the jungle stuff.
Yeah.
To Panama, and we were England Air Force Base. So the training started changing a little bit, because that was a desert, but we also did desert training in Texas. And we did winter training in New York and stuff. So, but anyway, it started changing because Vietnam was winding down, and it was, of course, it was over in 1975. But we ended up being called over in Israel. And that's when we started doing training, we started changing a little bit. So, but we did a lot of our war protester stuff, and we had to deal with a lot of masses of people.
Right.
So I used the here, and I actually do stuff from way back in 1973, 74, and 72, what we did back then, and then put it up a little bit more up-to-date stuff, with tactical stuff, and how to shoot. Because, you know, it changed, you know, from carrying a weapon, you know, underneath the armpit or something, you know, yeah, you just went to do up on your more on your shoulders and stuff. So we started using the airsoft, and what we do is we actually load the pistols, and we actually go into the shoot house, and also we got slings on them because
These slings, yeah.
yeah, that way they can know how to transition. What I did find out, it's nothing against the police officers down there at all. What I found out down there, it was a good experience for me. Major Guang always deals with a lot of police officers, SWAT teams. And what I found out was that when they didn't have when they had this primary weapon down there, which I found out, if they didn't have this, they forgot about this. Even though they carried it all day long, they actually forgot. It was great training for them. I was so glad to see these cops, Boston cops, come in here, because when they were using their primary weapon, you know, they turned around and they ran out of ammunition, and they turned around and jammed. They turned around and they ran, not realizing, hey, you got your sidearm. What are you doing? So it was great training for them. You know, and then we have
So you
slings.
work transitions to your
We
sidearm?
transition to our
To your sidearm?
deploying our sidearm.
Okay.
And so I get them used to, we actually carry these all the time we're in here. They actually run with them, you know, they run with them in here.
Get a little PT with them?
The PT in here, they use them for push-ups in here.
Nice.
Double push-ups, you know, you put them on the ground and you
Yeah.
grab a hold of it, and, you know, your face is up in their foot, and vice versa, doing push-ups. And we actually,
classics.
we actually train with these.
Yeah.
We do a lot of stuff with the AR-15s, and then being able to transition over to the, you know, deploy their sidearm, or the secondary weapon. And, but we actually using, you see this got broke, the film got broke. But being able to use these, and using the magazine coming down from slicing from here with the mag, which a lot of people don't realize you can use the side. These are sharp.
They are real sharp.
The mags have always been sharp, and they make a great weapon for that. I actually got trained to do that in 1972 because of war protests. And boy, these things work. They hurt. You know, we had fixed bayonets, but before we had bayonets, it just...
Even without it,
It hurts like a son of a gun. But, you know, they didn't realize there's a lot of things you can do with your primary AR-15, you know, besides just shooting.
I like that you say it's a primary weapon, because a lot of people don't know, even when you got a sidearm, this is the primary weapon. And if this jams, you might hold this, till you get to a position where you can clear and do it, get this thing working again, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right? And work back to your long gun. And that's realistic training. And,
It is under stress.
yeah.
Because a lot of people, as you know, Mark, as you probably know, a lot of people don't even, you know, because I've been dealing with pistol, I grew up with weapons.
Yeah.
You know, we never called them guns in the Army.
Nah, it's weapons.
Yeah,
Weapons
it's guns,
system.
you get, this is,
Oh yeah, gun,
Yeah,
huh? Just
gun,
there's a
okay.
front leaning rest there.
Yeah.
Gunny.
yeah, the gun, this is my weapon, this is my gun, this is fighting, this is fun. Yeah, we never call them guns. But we do a lot of stuff in here with them, with these weapons, and they use them in a lot of different ways.
And then we got the forward assist. Look at that.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
you got a forward
This is
assist
nice.
and,
You can drop mags, work on reloads.
Yeah, reloads, you know, changing mags under stress, we do them
Under
in,
duress, yeah.
yeah, we do them in here, changing them, you know, and learning how to change a mag.
Do you do weapons drills, like if somebody, like you use Krav Maga to do like
Yes, we do.
controlling a long weapon
Yes, we do.
and disarming it?
Yeah, we do all that in here.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we were doing
nice.
that way back. It didn't just happen, you know, recently, but we were doing this way back, you know, in the '70s. Learning how to take a weapon or something, because we had to deal with protesters, and
They were trying to get your weapon.
they actually tried to, you know, and said, oh, nobody's gonna grab your weapon. What I found out, which I hope it changes sometime, there's a lot of stuff I don't know. I can only teach what I know, but what I do know is that there's people out there that unfortunately, these weapons, they rely on them too much.
Yeah.
You know, that's when Krav Maga comes in
Yes.
handy. They
It's a
rely on it
balance.
way too much, and they said, I hate that when they go, they said, nobody's gonna take your weapon away. Yeah, they do. Because I lived through it.
Yeah.
In Washington DC, they'll take your weapon away from you. They'll try to grab, you know, your rifle away
People
from
are
you.
stupid.
Yeah, they can be.
Yeah, they can be really stupid.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, I got this weapon right here. You wanna take this from me? That's bad.
Yeah, well, they can, when you got a whole bunch of people, they got
Yeah.
general Russia, they don't care what they're doing, they do
Yeah.
try to keep it away from you. So we do use these a lot in here, and, because I slept with mine like you did,
Oh,
you're
yeah.
grunt like I was, and we slept.
Even after
in
the military, my wife said, you gonna sleep with that all night? You know what I mean? Underneath the bed right here.
So all the
I
time
was like,
they're
it's
training
not
here,
bad.
they've got these, even Krav Maga, they've got these.
Right.
Because I wanted to learn how to, you know, learn Krav Maga and stuff with the weapon, because it does get in the way
Right.
sometimes.
It's the modern samurai sword.
Yeah, for sure.
And pistol, it amazes me how many people they have pistols and don't know how to use them, and they really don't know how to change mags in them. But they really don't, they got them down, they're fooling around with them and everything, and they're not looking at the threat
Right.
at all. I got people that come in here, and they have pistols, and they don't know how to use, they don't know how to reload, nothing.
Right.
Because it's, hey, this is pretty cool, I'm gonna get one for self-defense, but then they get put under stress, and they really don't know, they don't know how to take it off safe. In here with these safeties, on these, what we do with these is we actually chuck them to them on a run, and we have them all the time, you know, taking them off without looking, because they always look at the, you know, okay, we're gonna put on semi-automatic or automatic, back to safe, and we actually train them to go in here, and we throw the weapon at them at different times, and they need to take it off, you're safe without looking at it. Same as like when you deploy your pistol, being able to put it back in your holster without looking
You
at
gotta
it.
know it. You gotta know your
Because
weapon systems.
You gotta know your weapon all the time, and they don't, and what I found here is, okay, change the mag, they don't have a freaking clue.
Right.
Their eyes are down here on the ground, they're not looking at the threat and changing the mag.
I got a funny story about that. Real quick, I wanna say, right? I was doing like stress training with my pistol, my AR, right? And like it was just a lot of craziness going on. And instead of reloading it, I went threw my pistol on the ground. I was like, what the hell am I doing, right? It's stress though. I dropped the mag and I put my pistol down on the ground. I was like, because also if you train that way, boom, 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 empty the mag, now set your pistol, shooters go, you know, you train that way, I can come back and hurt you. You know, and I actually, but under stress, I like threw my pistol down on the ground. I had to do a lot of
A lot of people
push-ups.
get shot because, you know, the weapon jams.
Yeah, what are you gonna do with the jams? You gotta know how to function, you gotta function it out and clear it and get it working again.
Yeah, we slept with these, you know, as you know, maybe you did too when you were in the military, we slept
Sure.
with them, we had them with us all the time. And so in here, and that's so they can't sleep with them or anything like that, but
They gotta get their own if they wanna sleep.
they can do that. If they're-
So you got even the AK?
Got an AK,
So you
I
can do
use
some
that for the bad
realistic,
guys.
you can do some realistic bad guy training, AK style.
Well, the communists
Right.
had these, you know, over there, the NBA
Yeah,
and stuff, and I really not much of an AK.
I'm not a fan really either.